I'm Chris Atha of the National White Collar Crime Center. I serve as a high-tech crime specialist focusing on our mobile device forensics, research, curriculum development, and technical assistance. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the most important phases of any investigation involving digital evidence or electronic media: seizure. Appropriate seizure techniques start before an investigator arrives on scene. In fact, they start long before an investigator even leaves the office. An investigator has to be prepared to encounter a variety of different circumstances in the field. Failing to appropriately prepare during this stage of the investigation can invalidate later findings. As such, it's imperative to live by the mantra, 2 is 1, 1 is none. Expect things to fail in the field, expect things to go wrong, and expect the unexpected. In preparation for device seizure, I recommend keeping a go bag of all the important things you may need or the things you may think you need. To start off, I like to hit the staples: chain of custody forms, search warrant returns, property receipts, item labels, evidence bags, evidence tape, personal protective equipment, including gloves, masks, and sometimes even booties, a digital camera with spare memory cards and batteries, a digital voice recorder, a notebook. In addition to these things, it's also imperative to keep your go bag stocked with items specific to a digital investigation, such as a computer loaded with software that's applicable for the triage situation, any forensics tools that you may need, whether it be for traditional computer forensics or for mobile forensics, removable media, storage, cables, dongles, adapters, the list goes on. But it's very vital to have these things available in your bag and ready to go at a moment's notice. Prior to arriving on scene, it's important to do as much research about the environment that you're headed as you can. Knowing the difference of whether you're going to a business that hosts its own web server or to a home that has a basic home network will allow you to better prepare and be successful in your seizure. When you arrive on scene, officer safety is first. After the officer safety concerns, it's important to preserve the scene as best you can. This starts immediately by keeping an entry log into the scene and to begin working on a chain of custody form for any evidence encountered. Taking many pictures along the way and taking very detailed notes during this process will ensure that the evidence seized and then later analyzed will remain admissible in a court of law. Evidence must be accurately identified. During this, it's important to take photographs of the evidence and to document the device state. Is the mobile device or computer on? If so, is it locked? Is there any information displayed on the lock screen, such as network connections, network identifier, time, username, the presence of other accounts? All of these things are vital to collect. In addition to the live evidence, it's also important to search the scene for things like device manuals, packaging, original cables, and even invoices. In addition to searching for electronic devices that we commonly know and can easily identify, in today's landscape, it's also very important to look for items that might have a nexus, such as a Google Home, connected device items such as a smart lock, smart refrigerator, any smart appliance. While you might not be able to acquire data from them in our traditional methods, knowing of their presence and being able to seize them can aid in your investigation later. I have often found that things like smart locks, connected home security systems, and even smart light bulbs can enrich an investigation timeline. With current technologies, it's important to bear in mind that living by the once taught adage of simply pulling the plug from the back of the machine is going to be wrong. With the ever-increasing implementation of encryption and security implementations in today's technology, doing an on-scene acquisition of volatile data or an on-scene acquisition of the entirety of the disk may be necessary. After items and data have been properly identified, preserved, and seized, it's now time to prepare them for transport. When preparing an item for transport, I like to think of the character from the story Goldilocks. We can't let our evidence get too hot, can't let it get too cold. We've got to protect it from moisture, magnetic interference, and shock. If it's a mobile device, I like to place it into a Faraday bag with unique identifications and then store it, generally, behind the front seats of the vehicle. If your trunk is full of radio equipment, it's probably not the best place to store any type of electronic device. If your dashboard area is full of radio equipment, it too is not the best place to store any electronic device. Bearing in mind the Goldilocks rule and protecting it better than you would protect your own electronic devices will ensure a safe and efficient transfer. Much as technology continues to evolve, so must the first responder. It's vital to stay abreast of changes in digital technology and in the legal system as it pertains to device seizure and acquisition. If you're tasked to perform any of these steps as a professional, practice makes perfect. The first time that you seize a device and run through these steps isn't on scene. It isn't with live evidence. It's in a controlled environment or in training. As such, I encourage you to seek more training and to gain more experience in a controlled setting prior to going into the field.